Here, a Soviet infantry company consisting of a command infantry stand, a medium machine gun, and an infantry stand in the building is defending this area. It's also got an 82mm mortar in support. On the German side, there are two infantry companies, one's behind the hill. Also, they've got an 8cm mortar and a 7.5cm infantry gun. They'll be trying to assault this Soviet position. First up, we do the artillery fire phase. Here, the German 8cm mortar has a spotting position within 1 inch at the top of the hill, so it can self-observe its fire on the medium machine gun on the hill. We place the template. We don't need to roll for artillery response because it's self-observing. We roll 2 dice for the effect, however they need 1s to hit and score no hits. However, that stand will be suppressed. The Soviets can't self-observe anything here, so their mortar doesn't fire this turn. Next, we go to the movement phase. The Germans win initiative, and so they'll do prep fire first from their 7.5cm infantry gun on the command infantry stand at the top of the hill. Here, we're treating this stand as a full-size stand, so it gets 2 dice. At this range, the target number is a 1, but here we'd get no hits. However, that stand will be suppressed. The Soviets have no prep fire. Now we go to movement. The Germans reveal their orders, and the company on a cautious advance decides to go out into the field since the Soviets are now suppressed. The Soviets are on a hold. Now we go to opportunity fire. The medium machine gun, command infantry, and infantry stands can all fire at the Germans in the open. At this range, the medium machine gun normally needs 5s to hit. However, because of suppression, that's reduced to a 3. It will get 3 dice. The command infantry stand on the hill normally would hit on 3s at this range. Again, for suppression, that's reduced to 1, and it will get 2 dice. The stand in the building, unfortunately, is out of range to be effective. We roll for the medium machine gun, we get 3 5s. Now, those are no hits, but had that stand not been suppressed, all of those would have hit. For the command infantry stand, no hits. The Germans have survived unscathed. Now we go to general fire phase. The stands that moved out into the open here can fire, although only the medium machine gun can be effective. At this range, it will roll 2 dice, looking for 2s. It gets no hits, so the Soviets have also survived unscathed. Now we go to command and morale phase. We place orders on each of the different companies involved, and the Germans put an overwatch marker on their medium machine gun in the open so it can provide covering fire. Next, we check morale. The Germans in the open were shot at, and they're within 12 inches of the enemy. They check morale, and they pass. The Soviets on the hill also need to check morale, and they pass as well. Now we move on to a new turn and go back to the artillery phase. For the Germans, their 8cm mortar, as well as their 7.5cm infantry gun, are going to continue to fire at the same targets. The 7.5cm infantry gun will be in prep fire again. For the Soviets, now they can call in their 82mm mortar using the command infantry stand on the hill as a spotter. They place their artillery template and try the artillery response, however they fail. We'll leave the template there under the stand in case the Soviets wish to call fire on that same location in the next turn. For the German 8cm mortar, it fires, but unfortunately it doesn't hit. However, that stand is suppressed again. Then we go to the movement phase and prep fire. We roll for initiative, the Germans win again. The 7.5cm infantry gun engages in prep fire. Again, it doesn't score any hits, but it does suppress the stand on the hill. Now the Germans reveal orders and move. They're doing 2 hasty advances here, although the medium machine gun won't move as it's on overwatch. They move their stands. Then the Soviets reveal their orders, they're on a hold. Now we go to opportunity fire. In opportunity fire, the German medium machine gun can fire through its own stands. There is a rule for certain weapons that allow them to fire through their own stands. In this case, it shoots the medium machine gun on the hill and scores 1 hit. That hit results in a force back, so the medium machine gun is forced back off the hill. Before it goes, the medium machine gun and the other 2 stands here can both fire at the Germans that are approaching. The medium machine gun fires. It gets 2 hits. For the hit effects, 1 is no effect, and the other one is a forced back. So 1 German infantry platoon is forced back. For the command infantry stand, it gets 2 dice, however it gets no hits because it's suppressed. And finally, the other infantry stand in the building gets to shoot as well. It will also get 2 dice, but it scores no hits. So the Germans have come off fairly well in their assault up the hill. This stand needs to turn around and face the other way because it was forced back. Now we go to the general fire phase. The Germans who assaulted here can both fire. One stand is at a close assault range, so its chances are slightly higher. They only get 1 dice each. The first one misses, as does the second. For the Germans at the top of the screen, they can't have any effect at this range. At the end of the general fire phase, the German command infantry stand here is allowed to take the position because it was going to go into close assault. That position is now vacant, so it can fill that space. Now we go to command and morale. We place new orders on each of the companies. For the Germans, they decide to put 3 overwatch markers down. The only stand they want to order at the bottom here is the one that was forced back. They want to bring it back towards the trench. The company at the top puts an overwatch marker on its machine gun, but the other 3 stands are going to be following some kind of order. Now we go to morale. For the Soviets, when they check morale, they get a very high score. For the medium machine gun stand, that's a forced back result, and it's also shaken. So it essentially leaves the play area. For the other 2 stands, the result here is that they will be pinned. Pin command stands can't issue orders, so we remove the Soviet order here. For the Germans, the company at the top passes morale, and the company down the bottom here also passes morale. They're doing well today. Now we go on to the next turn, so we go back to the artillery phase. The German 8cm mortar is going to fire, again, self-observed, at the infantry stand in the building. The Soviet mortar now has a position within 1 centimeter where it can observe the German company at the top of the screen, and so it positions its template to cover 2 of those stands. They're quite closely grouped together, which makes them an easier target. Rolling for the German mortar, it scores no hits. Rolling for the Soviet mortars, it scores no hits. Actually, it should have rolled 2 dice for each stand, but anyway. However, all of those stands under those templates are now suppressed. We go to movement phase, we roll initiative, the Germans wins once again. The 7.5cm infantry gun is going to prep fire into the building. It doesn't score any hits, and the stand there is already suppressed, so it can't be suppressed twice. We just leave it as it is. The Germans reveal their orders. They're trying to bring this stand further forward, however it's outside the 6cm range of the joint command stand here, so that order will actually have no effect. The other company is going to move 3 stands forward along the tree line. Going next to the opportunity fire phase, the Soviets can't opportunity fire because pinned stands can't fire in the opportunity fire phase. However, the Germans on Overwatch can. Here, this stand just has some line of sight and a front 180-degree arc to the Soviets there. Between all of that shooting, we get 2 hits, and the result of those 2 hits is 2 force-back results. That's going to drive that stand back and essentially off the playing area. At the top of the screen, the medium machine gun can no longer hit at this range because it's been suppressed. Going into general fire phase, the stands here can shoot at the Soviets in the building. At this range, there are some different values. One stand is suppressed, one stand is at a shorter range than the other. We roll them all individually, but here we get no hits. The Soviets can now fire back. They shoot, but because they're suppressed and the Germans are in cover, there's no hit there. Now we're going once again into command and morale phase. The Soviets have no commander on the table, so they can't issue any orders. The Germans, however, can issue orders, and so they do so. Now we go to the morale phase. We'll check morale once again. For the Soviets here, the mortar passes, as does the stand that's remaining in the building. Because it passed morale, its pin marker is removed. For the Germans, they pass morale, and the other company up in the tree line also passes morale. At this stage, we'll finish the example here. It's fairly obvious that the Germans will clean up this position fairly quickly, assaulting it from 2 sides, especially with the support they've got from their weapons.